USC fans, you've noticed now, since the turn of the page to 2025, when we talk about the college football calendar year, you've noticed a different vibe around recruiting, right? A little bit more energy, a little bit more juice, a little bit more direction and structure. You flirted with the top number one class, and you've been in the top. Like you've had a different sense around USC recruiting, different vibe, right? Well, in large part, you got to look to the way they're operating under new general manager Chad Bowden. We'll talk about what he brings to the table. We'll talk about the future of USC roster building and recruiting right now. Before we get to that, though, USC fans, if you like content like this, you want to see more USC content, subscribe. That's kind of how this whole thing works. Letting us know that you like this content is by subscribing. The best way for us to get a gauge for that. This segment, though, is brought to you by our friends over at Teamworks. That's right. GM All Access is powered by Teamworks. Win the revenue sharing era with Teamworks General Manager. Purpose-built for collegiate athletics. Trusted by 99% of D1 NCAA institutions, Teamworks is uniquely designed by those who understand the challenges of college athletics, strategically allocate resources, optimize investments, evaluate your roster, and build championship-caliber teams all on one integrated platform, which is what we're all here for, right? Check out teamworks.com/general-manager to learn more. Teamworks, great stuff by them. Guys, nice little helmet here, rocking the Teamworks logo, so we appreciate them bringing you this segment today. As I was saying, you think about USC recruiting. Structurally, has there been anything holding USC back? Location? No. I look at the weather app in the morning sometimes to check what the weather is in like Southern California sometimes, because I used to live there, and I'm like, gosh, dang it. It's 40 degrees in Nashville. It's like 80-something and sunny in Los Angeles. So, no, that's not a thing holding them back. How about tradition and pageantry? No, USC's a blue blood, y'all. Has it been a blue blood the last couple of years when it comes to what they're putting on the field? They're adjusting, getting their sea legs. But you look at that logo, man, nobody looks at USC and thinks, oh, great water polo team, great tennis team. USC, they're a great basketball school. They're good at all those things. Hear me clearly. I like OJ Mayo as much as the next guy. But what I will say is you look at the USC logo, you think Lendale White, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, you think national championships, you think about the tradition of USC football, and even though they haven't been that as much in the last couple of years, that's still, I think, the reputation and the aura that they bring to the table. Okay, so you check that box. Great, not holding them back. Resources. Maybe at the beginning of the NIL era, there was a sense that they didn't bring enough to the table, whether it was emptying out the checkbook or maybe it was an organizational thing. From what I understand, that is no longer something that holds USC back. And you look at what Los Angeles is and where USC is located and the alumni, it should never hold USC back. Talk about an era where you can pay college football players, one of the most major cities in America. You should dominate on the NIL front. And I think they're a lot closer to doing that. Development, staff pedigree. You have one of the best offensive minds as your head coach, and you now have a NFL-level defensive coordinator overseeing your defensive staff. Like, you have what you need there when it comes to staff pedigree. So this thing has always had the juice, right? The vehicle that is USC recruiting always had a big engine, always had a lot of horsepower. The issue was we can't totally get this thing into the right gear. We also, once we get it into gear, we're not able to have the proper direction, proper steering, welcome into the full Chad Bowden. And I know it's been a matter of 15 minutes since he's had the job, but you see the results very, very quickly. You see the return on investment when it comes to hiring a guy like Chad Bowden over to USC from Notre Dame. That's important now. Chad Bowden is a few months removed from being in a situation where he could have won a national championship with Notre Dame. He was on the doorstep of doing that. He did not have to go to USC. It was not something that he was forced to do from a career move. He did that willingly. And there's a great interview from, I believe it's like the official USC football or USC athletics YouTube page, just sitting down talking game with Chad Bowden. It's really insightful. But when you listen to him speak, he gets USC. And that's something that I have beat over the head the entirety of this winter and spring because I think it's so important. But Chad Bowden talks about how he grew up a USC fan, how he grew up watching Matt Leinart ball. He understands what USC can be when it's firing on all cylinders. He talks about visions of a college football playoff game in the Coliseum at night. I'm like, dude, this guy, he understands where the bar is set at USC, and he's able to speak the language. Like, it's one thing to, speak highly of a place that you're not actually from. Like, I'm sure Idaho's a phenomenal state. I mean, I love potatoes as much as the next guy. I'm all here for Boise State and the blue turf. But if I were pitching you on living in Idaho, it would be probably correct information, but there'd be no soul behind it, dude. There'd be nothing within me that could get you excited about it. Why? Because it's fake. It's fake to a certain degree. It's not fake with Chad Bowden. He gets it, he lives it, he breathes it, and the fact that he's overseeing the roster construction at USC, I think that, along with everything else we mentioned, is a big reason why you're seeing USC recruit at the level they're recruiting at right now. On top of that, during that conversation that the USC YouTube page just put out there, he talks about putting a fence around what he calls the state of Los Angeles. And I thought that was really interesting because you think about where Miami was under Howard Schnellenberger. The same verbiage, talked about putting a fence around the state of Miami. If you put top talent from Los Angeles into USC's football program at a high clip, you're going to win a lot of games. Now, you still have to recruit nationally, still something they want to do. But again, that just continues to dial into me like this guy gets it. He gets USC, he understands what it takes, and he is someone who I think is going to be there and be a difference maker for them here as we talk about the future of modern college football. It's a big reason why I'm fired up for this segment, man, because you talk about where college football is heading. It's not going to be something where you have success at a high level without a top-tier GM. Like, maybe that'll be the case here for the next few months, maybe even the next couple of seasons. But, like, you look at where the college football playoff is headed, you better have someone that can dominate in the portal, dominate the recruiting trail, oversee NIL, all those things. Like, that is now a non-negotiable to win at the highest level in college football. That's where this thing is headed. Good news for USC fans. You got a guy who gets it and who I think is one of the best in the business when it comes to the GM position. So, again, USC fans, let us know your thoughts on the direction of USC roster building, recruiting, transfer portal, all that. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Again, shout out to Teamworks for bringing y'all this segment. GM All Access, again, is brought to you by Teamworks. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.